Happy Monday. Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy to be back with you. I wish that I had better news about my game that we went to over the weekend, Texas versus Georgia. Steven, it didn't work out too well for us.
No, it was not a good weekend all around.
Yeah, because Alabama didn't play so hot. And then I think Steven was like, all right, well, at least I can be happy for my wife's team because we're going to go in there in the stadium and it's going to go well. And then that didn't happen, Steven.
No, it didn't happen. But they had a cool drone show. So that was a win.
They did.
Texas won the drone show. So we'll call that a victory.
That's glass half full if I ever heard it. Thanks for that.
And I didn't see you throw anything either.
I didn't throw anything
to anyone.
I would just like to state, for the record, one of our executives here texted me and was like, so tell me, were you one of the ones who was throwing bottles? And because there's like an over-under, and I have you at like 4 bottles that you threw. How many bottles did you throw? And I was like, I swear I did not throw any of the bottles. They all came from the student section. However, you would not want to hear the words that were coming out of my mouth when that call happened. And I'll leave it there.
A lot of gosh darns and silly raps and stuff. Shucks.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That's all I said. Hello, Mom and Dad. I know you're watching. So happy to be back on this Monday. And, we're 15 days out from the election. That is so, I'm trying my hardest. There we go. Those of you who are watching, those of you who are listening on audio, I'm trying my hardest to wear as much Trump gear as I can for the next 15 days. So I'm like 2 weeks to go. It's been 3.5, almost 4 years we've been at this, and we're in the home stretch. And with this little amount of time, we're almost there. We are witnessing in real time, I would say, the difference between the Trump and Kamala campaigns, in particular, how they view you, the American people. All right. And we saw this contrast just over the weekend. There was a Trump campaign that identified with people, what their struggles are, where they live. And I want to play some of this Donald Trump at McDonald's learning how to use the fryers for the fries. But I want to first play the takeaway from the leftists over at MSNBC on Donald Trump over the weekend. Watch.
What's this about?
There's no logic to it. It's a stunt. He has not put forth an economic agenda. He, as you know, appears to be not well. And
no,
he's
I don't know that,
engaged in some really bizarre types of activities during this campaign.
Is he?
So this is just another one of those stunts that he will continue on through the campaign. And I think that we need to really focus on making sure that he is not elected, of course, because he is a threat to our democracy.
Well, that sounds really serious. He's unwell. He's participating in stunts. He hasn't released an economic plan, which is a total lie. I think you were mistaking him for Kamala, who it took her, 55 days to put anything on her website about any particular platform that she has. And even then, she can't explain to you the details of any sort of headline of an economic plan or any other plan. But I want to show you what Donald Trump was actually doing at McDonald's and let you decide. Was this a stunt, or is this a man of the people? Is this a man who truly understands Americans and truly understands what Americans need and are looking for in a president? Watch. This is, of course, the crowds that were lined up just waiting to watch Donald Trump pass on his way to McDonald's. That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Look at that. This is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, guys.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries where I'll be working.
And then you can go right into here on the left. Yep, slowly, right here. Slowly, gently lower it into the oil. Don't want to burn yourself. Up, down a little bit further. Gotcha. There you go. And then we're gonna hit our fry timer right here. And that one's going good.
Tight. We got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full. This is all on Trump. Oh, all on Trump. I'm allowed to do that, right?
Yeah.
Let's check and make sure
It's everything you said it would be.
It better be. It's going to be the best you ever. I made it myself. I like this show. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much
You
for
are not
everything you're
ordinary.
doing.
I can see.
We pray for
I
you,
have
and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
taking the
I took a
bullet for
bullet.
us, is what she
Thank you,
just
Mr.
said.
President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I mean, you tell me. You tell me. Was it a stunt? I mean, I realize, you know, the left is all up in arms about Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. He didn't actually get a job at McDonald's. They closed the McDonald's because Secret Service had to vet these people who are going through the drive-thru. Yeah, because people keep trying to kill him. Yeah, but no, it wasn't a stunt. He's just relating to the everyday American, which obviously Kamala Harris can't do. And so while he was working at this drive-thru, because I want to get to what brought him here, what was the real, like, where was the light bulb where he went, you know what, I'm going to do this. He made this really funny jab at Kamala while he was there. Watch.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your
I
resume?
never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will be put on your resume.
I worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why is it? Because she's lying, Kamala. That's why.
She is lying, Kamala. So she said on the campaign trail, one of her many lies, she said she worked at McDonald's for a summer while she was a sophomore at Howard University, and that she was a fry cook. That's her way of trying to relate to the everyday American. I'm one of you. Yeah, I'm wearing a $60,000 Tiffany's necklace. But I'm one of you. I was just a lowly fry cook at one time, which, by the way, I'm not, of course, denigrating, but I'm being Kamala, who, of course, looks down on anyone who isn't an elitist like she is, and she's trying her best to pretend like she doesn't. Of course she does. So Kamala's campaign will not actually verify the claim. And by the way, neither would McDonald's, because they wrote this internal memo where they said, you know, we're not a political brand. We've actually been proud to hear former President Trump's love for McDonald's and Vice President Harris's fond memories working under the arches. While we and our franchisees don't have records for all positions dating back to the early 80s, what makes 1 in 8 so powerful is a shared experience so many Americans have had. Of course, they're saying 1 in 8 Americans have worked at McDonald's. So they're very clearly pushing back on so we don't have that record of her working at McDonald's, but we're not trying to be political here, so I guess we're just going to take her word for it. I wouldn't. She's a liar. And by the way, it wouldn't be the first time Kamala lied in college to the media to seem more relatable. Remember this?
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay.
And I inhaled. I did inhale. It was a long time ago, but yes.
I know you have to go. They say you have to go.
I just broke loose.
I mean, was it in college? See, I like stuff like that. That's a real honest answer. Was it a blunt or joint?
It was a joint.
Hey.
Yeah.
You remember the high?
I do.
So if it was legalized all throughout the country, medicinal, would you do it?
Listen, I think that it gives a lot of people joy, and we need more joy.
What do you listen to? Because I know she has to go. So what does Kamala Harris listen to?
What were you listening to when you was high?
What were you listening to when you were high?
What was on? What song was
Oh my goodness! Oh yeah, definitely Snoop. Tupac.
Tupac.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
What's your favorite hip-hop artist now? What's your favorite artist?
You know who I really love is Cardi B.
You like Cardi B?
I really do.
Okay.
Well,
really
that right there tells you all you need to know about Kamala. But let's go back to that. Oh, she was listening to Snoop Dogg and Tupac when she was just smoking a joint, getting high, giggling about it. She actually graduated in 1986. Tupacalypse released in 1991, and Snoop Dogg Doggy Style released in 1993. 3. So lie detector says that was a lie. By the way, she, let's not let it be lost on us, prosecuted a whole lot of black men for smoking marijuana as San Francisco DA. And, you know, ACLU, it's ACLU, not me, who's saying blacks were way more likely to be arrested than whites. So maybe that's why she lied about McDonald's. All right. But let's go back to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been like the McDonald's guy for a very long time. As president, you may recall, he was blasted for it by the mainstream media. Again, all these elitists who are like, oh, I can't believe that he hosted the national champions, Clemson Tigers. But when the White House chefs came out, actually, they couldn't actually come out face to face because they had COVID lockdowns. What did Donald Trump do? He served the players McDonald's, of course. Watch.
We have 300 hamburgers, many French fries, all of our favorite foods. I want to see what's here when we leave, because I don't think it's going to be much. The reason we did this is because of the shutdown. We want to make sure that everything is right. So we sent out, we got this, and we have some wonderful people working at the White House. They helped us out with this.
Again, is Donald Trump being legitimate about his love for McDonald's, about his, like relatability with the average person? Or is it just all a stunt? Oh, he's too much of an elitist to go to McDonald's. I don't know. Check out this blast from the past McDonald's commercial. Watch.
I don't know how you do it. I put together some really impressive deals.
Look how long ago this is.
This thing you've pulled off, it's amazing. A big and tasty for
He's
just
literally
$1.
doing McDonald's
How do you
commercials.
do it? What's your secret?
That's a man of the people right there.
We could own this town.
That is a man of the people, okay? And while Donald Trump over the weekend was just reiterating to everyone, I understand I have a lot of money. I'm still one of you. I haven't let my sensibilities escape me. Kamala actually just took a page from Hillary Clinton's deplorables playbook, I guess, because at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, I want you to watch how Kamala responded to an attendee who simply shouted the, I guess, controversial statement now, Jesus is Lord. Watch.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Oh. Uh-oh. So look how proud she is of herself for telling Christians.
No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Imagine simply saying Jesus is Lord, Jesus is King. We love Jesus because we are Christians, and this, I mean, used to be, I would say it still is, a Christian country. And she says you're at the wrong rally. Why? Because they are the party of Satan. Because they are the demonic party. It's nice to at least hear Kamala Harris admit this. Now, I just want to show you how different these parties are, okay? Some of you have been like, stop saying this, Sarah. Choose your fighter, all right? Do you want someone who goes to a rally and tells someone who preaches about Jesus, you're at the wrong rally? Or do you want a ticket like Trump and Vance? Because here is how J.D. Vance responded when a rally goer shouted a similar statement. Watch.
Anti-Christian rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think that we've, that's right, Jesus is king, and I don't think that we've seen...
The contrast couldn't be clearer for you guys, okay? It's right there. The choice is yours. And in many states, you can literally go make that choice right now. You can go to the ballot box right now. Here in Texas, early voting has started. I know it's already started in many different swing states. The choice is yours, America, okay? Do you want the party of Satan? Or do you want some daylight? It's in your hands now. So make your choice. All right, we've got more to come. I'm going to bring in someone who I think is going to have some things to say about what took place over the weekend, especially since he was on the ground in Pennsylvania with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. First, I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, Flying Ace Whiskey. So I'm going to put it really clear for you. If you love whiskey and you also love supporting good causes, this is the whiskey for you. It's American made. It tastes delicious. We use it in my house exclusively, and they've got a whole bunch of different cool flavors. They've got peach. They've got blackberry. They've got, Steven, what's the one that I always forget? Kettle corn, caramel corn.
I think it's caramel corn.
Caramel corn, candy corn. It's just delicious. That's all I can tell you. It's amazing whiskey. And what they've done is they're partnering with Folds of Honor to provide scholarships to families of, people who have sacrificed their lives for our great country. And I can't think of a better cause. It's a win-win. You're buying whiskey and you're helping provide these scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled. So go to their website, check them out, flyingacespirits.com. Use promo code America to get free shipping. This is going to be one of the ways that you're going to get through election season, my friends. All right, check them out, flyingacespirits.com, promo code America. All right, I want to welcome to the show my friend, host and senior editor at Human Events, Jac Posobiec. Jack, welcome back. It hasn't been that long since you've been here. I want to talk about your new book, which I love that we have strategically placed right here in front of you so you can show everyone.
What makes you think I have a new book, Sarah? Right. What gives you that?
What gives you that idea? So I want to be able to talk about that, but I just played sort of the tale of contrasting presidential candidates over the weekend of Donald Trump. Seemingly, the momentum is all with him. He made the stop at McDonald's. He's showing up the football game. He got a very, very nice reception there compared to Kamala Harris. I don't know, basically saying the quiet parts out loud. Hey, we're the demonic party. You can't bring your Jesus talk over here, right? So I want to get your take on what is happening with this shift over the weekend. And then I do want to talk about your book.
Well, thank you. It was really incredible. So I got to be there at the game yesterday at the Steelers. And for me, by the way, as a Philadelphia area guy, which is very, very, very much Eagles territory, I kind of had to swallow my pride a little bit and say, all right, I'm going to the Steelers. It'll be all right. I asked my father's permission if it would be okay. And in typical Eagles fan fashion, he said, no, you do not have my permission to go to a Steelers game. I was like, Dad, I would expect nothing less from you. But I said, so we went, and I was like, well, Trump's going, and it's gonna be a thing. And so we went, but I did not wear any gear because there are limits. Okay, there are limits. But I said, look, I'm here as a Pennsylvania fan today. So I'm a fan of Pennsylvania, and that's why I'm here. By the way, they had a fantastic game, and I got to see them, really pound Aaron Rodgers' face into the dirt. A come from behind win, and he played phenomenally, but the Jets did so much, and but the reception for President Trump was fantastic. However, I do also have to point out though, President Trump was only shown, as far as I know, because I wasn't watching on TV, I was there. He was only shown for about 14 seconds. So compare that to every time Taylor Swift goes to one of these Chiefs games, it's like it's like, oh, we're taking a Taylor Swift timeout. We got to go show her, and she's hanging out with Brittany Holmes or whatever. Maybe they don't see eye to eye anymore because of the different endorsements or whatever.
Yeah.
And in the crowd, they didn't show Donald Trump's face on the Jumbotron once.
You're kidding.
Nope. They didn't. So the only way people knew he was there was that people who were up, in front of the box office or in front of the box the skybox where he was, they saw him, and then word kind of spread through, and you could hear the USA chant.
Sure.
And you saw people with MAGA hats going around, so people knew he was coming. And I saw just tons of MAGA hats. We had MAGA hats, and so people knew he was coming. And then when the USA chant happened, we figured that's what it was. But they never actually showed him inside on the Jumbotron at all that entire game.
Wow. So how does it's just so egregious what the media is doing. So how does it feel on the ground then in Pennsylvania? Because look, I understand we can say I live in Texas and it's different because Texas should be a Trump state. There should be no question. I would argue Texas is a little too close to turning blue, but that's a conversation for a different day. We were just in Austin, and I like to kind of poll people that I meet at the bar, stuff like that. I'm not shy. So I'll just start talking to people and then I'll be like, so who are you voting for? And overwhelmingly, we had people from New Jersey. We had people from New York. We had people from, it was funny, F1 racing was in town. And we had people from Ireland, from Europe who couldn't vote, but I still wanted their opinion. And overwhelmingly, everyone I talked to was like, Donald frickin' Trump. So what is the feeling on the ground in Pennsylvania when you're there? Because I feel like there's an energy.
Yeah. And I was at the Elon event. Like I was pretty much with Elon like almost all day there, and we went to we've also been going, my brother and I, to the churches, the Catholic churches all over Pennsylvania, just trying to work that Catholic vote,
right,
especially with the traditional Latin masses and those going really to those traditional Catholics. And I will tell you, having driven all over Pennsylvania in the last couple of weeks, what's interesting is that, like you say, when you talk to people, when you meet people out in the wild, it's the response I get. The response I get is Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. When I drive around, when I'm watching YouTube or when I'm, looking at the billboards, and then how like when you travel and you download a podcast, you get like the geographically targeted ads for that podcast. Yeah. So whenever I'm listening to it's a Megyn Kelly Show, that I get the local podcasts and everything, local ads. It's all Kamala Harris. Kamala Chameleon, with and the billboards every 5 miles, Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris. So it's the money is for Kamala Harris. On TV, it's Kamala Harris, like every other commercial is for her. And you see some McCormick and Trump as well, but they're telling me that all in, it looks like $500 million is going to be spent in just the state of Pennsylvania. That's both campaigns, all outside groups. So think about that. That's more than I think when Obama and McCain ran. That was that was how much they both spent combined for the entire country.
That's crazy.
So you're getting that now for just one state. And so it feels like a civil war in many ways. Like, to me, politically speaking, there's this huge war going on for the various supporters. And when it comes to her, I will say it's 2-track. So when you go into the poorer areas of Pennsylvania, economically depressed areas, it's entitlement programs, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. She's going to keep that. She's going to keep going, et cetera, et cetera. And then when you get into southeastern Pennsylvania, that's sort of a Acela corridor, then it's all abortion. It's women's rights, women's rights, women's rights. Donald Trump will take away your abortion rights. We need women's rights, so we need to support Kamala Harris. That's just over and over. So you're seeing the dual track messaging there from them. But what's interesting, all those billboards that I just mentioned, the vibe is sort of like every time. And my father and I were just driving around, going to different events and seeing this. And you would go and you'll see the Kamala billboard, but then next to it, there'd be like 3 or 4 grassroots Trump yard signs that somebody just parked their car and went up and put it there.
Right.
And then you go down the road a little bit more and someone's painted Trump on a fence or on their house or on a barn. And it's just this big, Trump 2024, Trump vans. And so like I say, it's really going to come down to a question of the money versus the grassroots support, because that's what's really going on in Pennsylvania. And the other thing in Pennsylvania that we're working really hard on is the early voting, because Pennsylvania, we do not early vote. It is not an early vote state. We've never had this before. This is like brand new since COVID. Nobody knows anything about it. People don't even realize that in Pennsylvania, you can vote early in person if you go down to the Board of Elections in your county, which I did. So I already voted in person, no mail, no drop box, went in, I posted it, I got it, Trump, put it right back and handed it right back to them. People in PA don't even know this exists. So with Elon, and I got to see him do one of these $1 million giveaways, and it's almost like he's just pointing into someone randomly in the audience, like, so you there, you, the woman in red, billionaire now, come on down, and he's very nonchalant, because that's like $2 for me and you,
right?
He's like, here you go, have fun, and like, she's like, her, in tears, almost
crying, yeah.
What am I going to do? And even after taxes, I'm sure that's going to be pretty good, even under the Obama Biden Harris taxes. And so it's just been incredible seeing that here's this guy who is the richest man in the world. Yeah. And he could be doing literally anything. He could be like hanging out in space right now if he wanted to. And he's like just driving around Pennsylvania in SUVs, going from town hall to town hall. And even more so than the money is that Elon is sitting there and he'll spend hours just taking question after question from every random, like, Joe Schmo and Jim Schmo and Bob Schmo and from all over Pennsylvania. Just whatever you want to ask him. There's no like, going to events, how it is at events. Sometimes you would like want to filter it a little bit and get the question. He's none of that. None of that. Just come on up and ask me whatever you want. People are, and given that it's Pennsylvania, by the way, people are like shouting stuff at him and just yelling at it, and he responds. He's like super polite about it. So it was just incredible to see that, Elon has understood the importance of Pennsylvania to that level and showing the people of Pennsylvania such respect to give so much of his time. He could throw his money around, but he wouldn't have to do anything. But to me, the time that he's putting in is potentially even more of a sign than the money, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Elon clearly understood the assignment, I would say. So before we go,
by the way,
and
that's why Josh Shapiro then goes on Meet the Press yesterday, the governor of Pennsylvania, and threatens to arrest him.
Yeah.
He said, we're going to see if law enforcement is going to look into this. And I'll tell you something right now. That Elon, when he gave that money over, he never said this, you have to vote for a certain person. He never said this money is for voting. He said it's because you signed a petition saying that you support the First and Second Amendments. And that's what we're all about.
Right.
That's all he said.
Right. Exactly. So I want to talk about your book. It's available tomorrow. It is released. It's Bulletproof: The Truth About the Assassination Attempts on Donald Trump. So tell us about it, Jack.
Well, so I think the shortest way to put it is, number one, this story needs to be front and center in this election. The fact that Donald Trump has survived not one but two assassinations at this point, just an absolutely historic feat and a historic moment for our country. This is something that will always go down throughout the annals of history. The mainstream media, of course, has completely forgotten about the two shooters here, Thomas Matthew Crooks and Ryan Wesley Ralph, has no curiosity whatsoever. Look at what the media did, by the way, to January 6th, and how January 6th is something that, even if you say the phrase January 6th, it's just so indelibly, it's become like a trigger word. We're triggered to remember those events and remember the media's response to all of it. If I say J13, people are like, what are you talking about? What's J13? I said, well, that's Belden, when Trump was shot. Oh yeah, right. But it just happened. So this is the media's greatest power, actually, is the power of story selection. And the stories that they want to elevate get elevated, and the stories that they want to de-emphasize get de-emphasized and omitted and forgotten. And so they're trying to make us forget. And by the way, you saw this with the Google autocomplete. If you searched Trump assassination, it would show you other assassinations, or it wouldn't autocomplete. Or if you were going to post the photo at one point, Instagram was fact-checking the iconic photo of President Trump with his fist up in the air, and they were doing that so you couldn't share the photo. That's why the fact checks exist, by the way, to stop the flow of the spread, right? Very COVID related. And when we look into all this, we say, look, too many questions, not enough answers. We don't trust the federal government. So what myself and my co-author Joshua Lysak did was, we said, fine, I'm not going to sit around and wait for the FBI to tell me what the official narrative is. We went and we hired our own private investigation firm in Pennsylvania, fully licensed and all that. Yeah, check me out, Josh Shapiro. And they have been doing the shoe leather work of going around and investigating who was this individual, Thomas Matthew Crooks, what were his connections, who was his inner circle, and did that inner circle have any complicity or prior knowledge to this going on. Examples like I've got all of the gun records of his gun range, so all the sign-in sheets when he was there over the last 2 years of his life, even up to and including the day prior to the shooting. And it's redacted because we're not going to be doxing, just random people. Sure. I don't believe in that. But I will say, though, that there is an individual who met almost every single one of the times throughout 2023 when they went to the range was attending at the exact same date and time as Thomas Matthew Crooks, using the same ranges, written in a different handwriting. So who was that?
And I'm not going to ask you that because I assume that that's why people need to go get the book right now, Jack.
Well, it's something that, look, again, I'm not just going to put out someone's name at random without evidence or something like that. But this investigation, Sarah, is ongoing.
Yeah.
So the idea for us is that we're going to be using the proceeds of the book, and hopefully the book does well, because we'll then be using them. And even if it doesn't do well, I'm gonna keep doing it anyway. And because it's not about this, it's just a way to get the information out, really.
Right.
So we are going to be putting this out and conducting further reports. So the first investigative report we put together is in this book, and when we compile enough for a second one, we're going to put that out, and then we'll do a third book. And now that there's this other assassin who we were briefly able to touch on in here, we at least got a full chapter in, and some of the preliminary, it's just tied to some kind of innocuous things like the Azov Battalion, these neo-Nazis who were trained in the CIA to do assassinations in Ukraine, but just some little organizations.
Right.
That look, if I've got to hire investigators to go all the way to Ukraine, we'll do so. We will absolutely do so, because not only do the American people deserve answers, President Trump deserves answers. Obviously, the family of Corey Compatore, who I got to meet at that second Butler rally, they deserve answers as to why their father and their husband was not able to come home with them afterwards. And we just don't trust this. We don't trust what the federal government is telling us whatsoever. And the fact of the matter is, Sarah, that these assassination attempts and these threats are ongoing.
Yeah.
And there are threats and there are active operations and active measures against President Trump right now. And when the DOJ put out that letter from Ryan Wesley Routh, the dead man's letter that he had given to his neighbor a month prior, saying, if something happens to me, put this letter out, hands the letter to the FBI releases it publicly, saying that this was a failed assassination attempt, but someone else can complete the job for me. And if they are able to do so, there will be a bounty of $150,000. That is a hit. That is we talk about media hit jobs, right?
Yeah.
This is a literal hit job.
Oh, yeah.
And both of these were failed hits on President Trump. And that is the way people need to understand this. And I do believe that by unpacking the information as to how these took place and were in many ways allowed to take place, then perhaps we can prevent the ongoing threats from stopping President Trump right now.
Yeah, amen. Well, you're such an important voice in this conversation, because Lord knows we can't trust the mainstream media to tell us the truth. Tell everyone where they can find the book.
Look, thank you so much again, Sarah. And it's on Amazon and all the booksellers. And by the way, if there's anyone out there who doesn't like putting money in Bezos's pocket, we've also set up orderbulletproof.com. So you can go there and check it out as well.
Great. Orderbulletproof.com if you don't want to go to Amazon, which I highly suggest you go to Jack's website instead, because screw Jeff Bezos. Jack, I appreciate you, and we'll stay in touch.
God bless. We'll see you soon, Sarah.
All right. See you soon. All right. When we come back, I do want to talk about what Jack briefly mentioned, which was Elon having these town halls in Pennsylvania, and Josh Shapiro and the Democrats. They don't like that they don't like when billionaires get involved in these conversations. Well, sometimes they do. But in this case, this is a conservative or a Republican or just not a crazy leftist. And therefore, he is evil and must be stopped. We'll get into that with my guest here in studio. First, we want to remind you guys, look, go sign up for Blaze TV, okay? We never know when is going to be our last time off the airway. I never know when it's going to be my last time on YouTube. Right? We're like hanging on by a razor thin margin. So make sure you go sign up. We're offering our biggest discount yet, $40 off of an annual subscription. You can go to blazetv.com/Sarah. Use code Sarah40 for those $40 off. We've never offered that type of promo ever until now. So go there, blazetv.com/Sarah. Use promo code Sarah40. All right, welcome to the show, Matthew Mausden, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire. So I want to talk to you. I was just talking to Jack Posobiec about Elon Musk and how heavily involved he is getting into this presidential election. But I do want to ask you, so Stephen and I were in Austin over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Is F1 racing like a big thing in Europe?
Oh yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
So it was in Austin at the same time that we were there, and there were so many people from the UK. We ran into people from Britain, from Ireland. Like, so, they were just like here for the race. And I was like,
Have you ever been to Formula One?
No, I don't even know anything about it.
It is. So, funnily enough, when I did Protocol 7, I was there same time.
Right? Oh, that's funny.
So all the hotels were sold up in Austin. But also, I think it was last year, I took my father-in-law because it was a bucket list thing for him. It was the biggest thing.
Really?
Yeah. They all stop and I took him to the Cota, whatever it is of America down there in Austin. And it was, I got to say, one of the best run things I've ever been to. There is 150,000 people there. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there were a lot of foreigners, and I talked to, I mentioned this briefly earlier, but we talked to these two guys from Ireland who, because I ask everyone what they think about the election. And I talked to these two guys from Ireland. We were at a bar, and they were having fun, but they weren't out of control. And I was like, okay, so I have to ask you guys, who do you want to win our presidential election? And they were like, Donald effing Trump. They went crazy. They were like, screw those liberals. And then one of them, I shit you not, lifts up. I'm not going to lift up my leg because I'm wearing a skirt. Lifts his foot up and pulls his sock out. And he's wearing Donald Trump socks.
No way.
I kid you not. I was like, oh my gosh, they are serious about this.
Yeah, well, there's been a real push across Europe, especially in Ireland, because Ireland's been overrun by immigrants. And so they're pushing back now. Conor McGregor's out there speaking out. Yeah. And I know, the majority of people that I speak to say, we need Donald Trump to win for our freedom, for their freedom.
Right.
Not just ours, it's very, very different because I cannot tell. I mean, I know that people who watch this show really understand how bad the mainstream media is. It's even worse over in Europe because they kind of come across as the BBC. The BBC, we're very, very
sure.
respectful
yes,
and unbiased.
Unbiased.
I mean, it's utter garbage. And so, but now people are going, hang on a minute, after they're seeing it all unravel.
Right.
Because people aren't stupid.
Right.
And I've said this over and over again. Americans and Brits are fundamentally good people that just want fairness. Mm-hmm. And it's gone mental right now, right? We're in a real state. So I am not surprised that they love Trump. I'm not at all.
Yeah. It wasn't shocking to me, but I was like, wow, the energy is really shifting heavily in our direction. And so to that point, let's talk about Elon Musk. So the left is very, very mad at Elon, right? They are very, very mad because it's bad when billionaires get involved in election. Well, not all the time it's bad, but it's really bad when Elon Musk, now the richest man in the world, is getting involved in elections. He's giving away, of course, $1 million a day from now through November 5th to swing state voters who sign his PAC's petition, not to support Donald Trump, but to support the First and Second Amendments, right? To support free speech and to support the right to bear arms. Boy, of all the times to not live in a swing state. I would just say.
I know. I was looking at that. I was like, oh.
I know. That one hurts. I love you, Texas. I would never leave. But man, that one hurts. So, of course, he wants to make sure that everyone in swing states hears about it and, thinks, hey, I give away $1 million. That's a drop in the bucket for me, but it's everything to an average American. And I want them to know about this. And so he's like, corporate media is not going to report on it. So I'm just going to give a bunch of money away to raise awareness. And I want to play Elon giving his first check to someone in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is exclusively where he's spending his time right now. Watch.
We're going to be awarding $1 million to randomly to people who have signed the petition every day.
What?
From
it's like a game show.
The election. Tonight's person is John Dreyer.
That is just the greatest thing ever. Look at that.
You have to just sign a petition.
That guy's life has been changed forever.
And again, it's just a petition. Nobody knows how you're going to vote. And Elon believes in this that strongly.
John had no idea. So anyway, you're welcome.
So Elon, he really is putting his money where his mouth is in a really big way. And I want to get your thoughts on that. And then let's take a break after that. And I want to play kind of the left's melting down of Elon's this is election interference. You guys might not have any room to talk about that, given your history. Go ahead, Matt.
I think they're hypocrites by any chance.
No, no, the left knows.
No.
Stop that.
Look, Elon Musk has seen behind the curtain, right? If you guys haven't seen the Blaze Twitter files, you should go and look at them, right? Because how many times have we spoken about the events that have happened to Donald Trump and around this campaign that should have been, there shouldn't be any daylight. Mm-hmm. He should be so far ahead. He should be like 15 points up everywhere because of all the stuff that they've done. Elon Musk knows what has gone on behind the scenes, and he thinks he also, by the way, knows, and this is what we keep trying to tell people over and over again, they will destroy him. Yep. It doesn't matter that he's done more for the green movement. We all know that's bullshit, right? They don't agree with that at all. It's just a way of controlling people. He's done more than that, more for that movement than anyone else in the history of the world, right? And they are going to destroy him. Like the same way that they are going to destroy Trump's family, not just Trump's family. They're going to destroy Elon and they have destroyed part of his family. And so he's like, none of this matters. Right. All my money, all the spaceships, the cars, none of it matters if we do not have a country. Yep. And that is why people will look back at history and look at this period in history and specifically what he's doing as he will be one of the all-time political greats for what he's done.
I agree. That the history, well, if the history books are written by the right people, they will definitely reflect that. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then I want to get to the less reaction to Elon Musk's election interference when we return. All right, so the left very angry about Elon Musk participating in the conversation, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro was asked about it. Here's what he said.
Elon Musk says he will be giving away $1 million every day to random voters who sign his super PAC's petition. You are a former attorney general. Is this legal?
I think there are real questions with how he is spending money in this race, how the dark money is flowing, not just into Pennsylvania, but apparently now into the pockets of Pennsylvania.
Is that because he's African-American?
Deeply concerning. Look, Musk obviously has a right to be able to express
Why do you hate
views.
immigrants?
It's very, very clear that he supports Donald Trump. I don't, obviously we have a difference of opinion. I don't deny him that right. But when you start flowing this kind of money into politics, I think it raises serious questions that folks may want to take a look at.
So you think it might not be legal, yes or no?
How can they say that with a straight face?
I think it's something that law enforcement could take a look at. I'm not the attorney general anymore of Pennsylvania. I'm the governor, but it does raise some serious questions.
So law enforcement should have to take a look at this, okay? Because if it's dark and dark money, it's dark forces and dark money when it's something that you don't like. However, I would just like to point out, I didn't hear Josh Shapiro complaining when Jack Dorsey was running Twitter and they totally censored and blocked the Hunter Biden laptop story. Right. The New York Post, wasn't their whole account was blown up from Twitter because of it? Let's see. I don't recall them having a problem when George Soros was donating $1 million to Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, who would then go on to, of course, politically persecute Donald Trump with lawfare. I don't recall them having a problem with Zuckerbucks when Mark Zuckerberg and his wife created a nonprofit so that they could impact the elections on behalf of the Democrats, where they donated more than $400 million to local election offices in 47 states, pretending like this is just for COVID. We're just helping with COVID. These are Zuckerbucks. And instead, the cash went towards boosting Democrat turnout in several different swing states. But no, look, other than that, that wasn't dark money. George Soros, not dark money. Elon Musk, you mean to tell me he supports the Constitution? That is some dark shit. That is some dark shit, Matt. It needs to be eliminated. I mean, prosecute the bastard.
But the scary thing is the way they say it, and you know that they're going to, right? Here's the thing. I am glad that we have figured out, and it's taken them trying to indict him over 1,000 different things that he's not guilty of at all. Then they try and kill him. Then we had to have a billionaire go and buy a free speech platform, right? Because we couldn't have our, and you know this on Twitter, we were completely stifled, right? Even our friend Dana Lausch. To this day, I never see her on Twitter.
I don't see you. We were texting about something this morning, and you were like, "Yeah, I tweeted about it." I was like, "I didn't see it. I don't see any of your stuff."
Even now, it's that deep in the system, and now we're playing their game, right? In the sense that we always used to say, "No, well, we have the better ideas." No, we've got to frigging win. Like, that's all that matters is winning, because that's all they care about is winning. And you win and then you change stuff, right? But all this stuff about us going, well, we've got to do the right thing. And principle, I'm going to write in DeSantis. Are you stupid? Are you stupid people?
Yes.
I mean, is that what it's not? Yes. It's not in any way, shape, or form virtuous to do this. We have to win. And what is happening right now is Elon's like, I win. That's what I do. And do you know what he's done, which is genius? Is everybody's talking about $1 million right now. Everybody. And do you know what that's done? Actually, saved them a shit ton of advertising dollars.
Right.
Fancy that.
Right.
Fancy that. We've been so bad at this for years. And now that's what winning looks like. Because you got a guy that all he has known his entire life is win.
Yeah. Well, but also a guy who has not been largely political his entire life either. But when you have someone who has stayed out of this, not because he doesn't care, but because he wasn't moved to do something, a guy who's just trying to, like, I don't know, keep making money and being the richest guy in the world while helping people with Starlink and stuff like that, that he has done more for the American people than its own government. And you have a guy who could be doing a million different things other than this. But even he, not even being historically political, even he understands the stakes, right? Even he understands what is at play here. And the stakes are too damn high not to get involved. And again, to your point, he even understands it, and we still have people in this country who are like, well, maybe a loss will move the party back to true conservatism. Oh, will we have a country?
That's what they don't understand. It's There's not going to be a DeSantis 2028. There's not going to be a DeSantis 2032. It's not going to happen unless we win this election. Like, that's how bad it is. And we've said this 1,000 times on this show. How many times have we heard the BS? This is the most important election in our... This actually is.
It's now. Now's the time. I know. Well, again, what is it, 15 days? It's time, folks. It's time for action. Go to the freaking polls. Vote early. Don't wait until Election Day where they're going to tamper with the results and the papers won't work and they won't scan it correctly. Go vote and bring 10